Hi everyone, welcome to the math review. This will cover some of the skills we'll use throughout this class, and it should be simple for most of you. I want to start with a very traditional math equation. We'll start with this one, right? And maybe you can identify this equation which reads negative 10 is equal to negative 3 over 4 x minus 4 is in the form of y equals mx plus b, which is the Y-Intercept Form, which you guys have used since middle school, freshman year, okay? And our task is very simple, just solve for x. So I'm going to rewrite my equation. Negative 10 is equal to negative 3 over 4 x minus 4. The first thing I'm going to do is add 4 to both sides to cancel it, right? I'm trying to solve for x, so I will not touch the fraction yet. This cancels. Negative 10 plus 4 is negative 6. Then I have equals negative 3 over 4 x. Now we have to get rid of the fraction, and please notice that the fraction is a negative fraction or has a negative number, negative sign. So first of all, to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. That is, we flip the fraction, if you want to see it that way. And I'm going to keep the negative sign as part of the reciprocal. Okay, so it'll be negative 4 over 3. We do that over here as well, negative 4 over 3. These two will cancel. Now I'm going to flip, okay, my equation. I like to have my unknown on the left side. So x is equal to, now negative 4 times negative 6 is going to give me positive 24, okay? Positive 24. So I'll get 24 divided by 3, which means that x is equal to 8. Very, very simple, guys, right? Super simple. Now, I want to have this as a reference for this next one that we're going to do. This is almost identical with the exception of not having negative 10. Instead of negative 10, like I have over here on top, we were given just y, right? Now, in this case, we have to find or solve for x in terms of y. That just means that when I have my answer like x equals something, somewhere in here I'm going to have a y term, a variable in the form of y, or just the letter y, okay? Now the numbers are the same with the exception of negative 10, so we're going to take almost the same steps. Actually, the first step is identical, so let's write it down. This does not count as a step, okay? There you go, minus 4. My first step is add 4 to both sides. Over here, when I added 4, negative 10 plus 4 gave me negative 6. In this case, I really don't know what y is, so I cannot assume is anything, meaning that I cannot do anything to simplify this side. You'll see what I mean, okay? So this cancels, of course. And over here, I'll simply have y plus 4 equals negative 3 over 4 x. Now I have to get rid of the fraction and also the negative sign, so I'll do the same. Times negative 4 over 3. I'll do the same over here, just like we did on the first one. This cancels. I flip again. Now I have x is equal to negative 4 over 3 times y plus 4. Now I'm going to further simplify. Although this is technically correct, I'm going to clean it up a little bit. And I know that x will be equal to negative 4y minus 16. If you don't know what I did, I simply multiplied the numerator times this, right? Because this is y plus 4, you can think of it as y plus 4 over 1 to make it into a fraction, and divided by 3. Now, although they don't look the same, right, we took the same steps. Now, if I were to tell you that y is equal to negative 10, and you plugged in negative 10 here, you would end up with the same answer for 8. In this case, I really don't know what y is, so at this point I stop. And that's how my answer should be. X equals this, and it has a y in terms of y. Okay? So when you have two different variables, but you're focusing in one, like in this case, we were focusing only on x, then you treat y as if it were a number. With the exception of simplifying, right? We couldn't simplify the, we couldn't simplify the y plus 4, nor were we able to simplify the multiplication here. Okay? Now, let's go for the third one over here. This one says, given x equals x naught. So this little 0 here, we call it naught. If you read, like, maybe if you read Dante's Inferno, well, or the Divine Comedy overall, the word naught, or any class it actually, I think, it's used, we use it to, well, in physics, it represents initial, but I guess the meaning would be like 0 or nothing, right? In this case, it's initial. So whenever you see the little 0, the naught, it represents initial. You don't have to know that right now. We'll learn it for the second lesson, but lesson 1.2.1. You'll learn it then, so don't worry about it. Just know that all these variables, letters, x, x naught, v, v and t, those represent not only a number, but a physical thing, right? A physical quantity. Now, at this point, it is very important that we work to get rid of something which this guy from YouTube, from Flipping Physics, calls numbers dependency. We're very used to numbers for mathematics. In physics, however, we don't have many numbers. We have a lot of variables, a lot of letters, but we treat them as numbers. We focus on the one we should focus, and then we treat everything else as a number. In this case, we have given this, right? Solve for t. So we only focus on t. That's what we solve for. Now, you may not see it yet, but this one, this equation actually is almost, well, it is in the same form as y equals mx plus b, with the exception that we're going to flip the mx and the b, and this one's written y equals b plus mx, and they actually correspond. So y equals b plus mx. Just like in math, m represents slope or rate of change. In this case, for this particular equation, v represents velocity, which is a rate of change. Again, you'll learn that later. I just want you to see that connection. So, slope is real, guys. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Whatever. Slope is real, okay? Now, let's solve for t. I'm going to rewrite my equation, x equals x naught plus vt. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this x naught term. Again, it represents a number, a physical quantity. I don't know what that is yet, so I'll just move it, right? As if it were a number. Just in the same way we moved negative 4 over here, we'll do the same thing with x naught. So this cancels. And then these two, they're not, although both of them are x, the fact that this one has x naught they represent two different things, okay? So I cannot simplify them. I cannot do x minus x naught equals 0 because that wouldn't work. So then I have x minus x naught is equal to vt. Now these two are together, meaning they're multiplying each other. So to solve for t, I have to divide by v. I do that on both sides, and then I have t is equal to x minus x naught divided by v. Kind of looks like this one. if you think about it, I treated every variable as if it were a number. I just didn't simplify anything. Okay? Hopefully that made sense. You'll practice in class. Now, I want to cover this one. It says, solve the following quadratic equation. Now, we know quadratics from Algebra 1, right? We have this quadratic term. And there's many ways to solve these. You can factor, you can complete the square, or you can use the quadratic formula. That is the one I like because I know it's, provided I do my math correctly, I will get the correct answer. Okay? So the first thing I need to do is make sure my equation is in this form, standard form, right? Which is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. This one right here, guys, is not in standard form yet because it's not equal to 0. So something that I can do, so I'm going to rewrite it. 9x squared plus 3x is equal to 2. To make it equal to 0, well, I'll just move the 2 to the other side. Well, I'll subtract 2, whichever way you want to think about it, right? This cancels. So I'm going to use this side, okay, guys, to have more room. So that'll be 9x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. Now I have that equation. I have it in the standard form, right? So I have my a, b, and then c. So it's ax squared plus bx plus c. Now in this case, it's important that we notice c will keep the negative sign. I know I wrote plus c. That's just the way it goes in standard notation. However, we have to keep the sign, okay? So therefore, our a is 9. Our b is 3. Then c is equal to negative 2. Then you just literally just plug it in, right? So it'll be x is equal to negative b, so it'll be negative 3 plus or minus. Oh, I have an equal sign here that is not supposed to go. This one. Uh-oh. I don't know why there's an equal sign, so don't pay attention to it. That was my bad. So that'll be b squared, so that's 3 squared. I'll add the square root sign later. Minus 4 times a, which is 9, times c, which is negative 2. And then I'll add the square root. And all that's divided by 2 times a is 9. Okay? I'm going to simplify it just real quick. I'm not going to solve it. Just want you to see how I would solve this one. So it'll be negative 3 plus or minus 3 squared is 9. Minus, now notice how these two minus from negative 2 and negative 4 will cancel. We'll make a positive, right? So it'll be minus 4 times 9, that's negative 36, times negative 2, that'll be positive 72, right? So plus, plus 72 divided by 18. And there you go. And boy, you can see that 9 plus 72 will be 81. So you have 9 there. So that's cool, right? It simplifies to a number of which you can take the square root. And well, let's just do it, right? Let's just simplify a little bit more because that one's simple. I don't know what's going to be that simple. So it'll be negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 81, which we know is 9. So I'm just going to have 9 over here. 9 divided by 18, and then just simplify, right? And I'm not going to simplify, I just want to show you that, okay? That's how I would solve a quadratic equation. Now, let's take a look at this one. Given, this letter is called delta, right? This is Greek letter delta. It reads, given delta y is equal to v naught y, remember the naught again, this one over here, the naught, initial, v naught y times t minus 1/2 gt squared, solve for t. Now in this one you can do simple algebra, right? But something I want you to identify is normally we solve for x, right? And in a quadratic equation, we have two x, or two numbers with x. One's this quadratic and one's linear. Now, for this one here, our variable is t. So we have this one here and this one here. Notice how this one is a quadratic term, but now we're using t. And then this one's linear, which means this equation, although it does not look like this, is still a quadratic equation. Now it is not in standard form, right? So I'm going to rewrite it, but change a little bit I'm going to do a little bit of rearranging. So I'm going to say negative 1/2 gt squared plus v naught y t is equal to delta y. In this case, I need to make sure my equation is equal to 0. How do I do that? Well, I'll move this delta y. If it were a number, I would just subtract the same way I did with the 2, right? So I'll do minus delta y because delta y represents a number. And now, this cancels. Again, I'm going to use this side. I have negative 1/2 gt squared plus v naught yt minus delta y is equal to 0. Now I know it does not look like this one over here, this quadratic equation, but bear with me, okay? So I have my a, my b, and my c. Now we're not using x, so it'll be at squared plus bt plus c is equal to 0. Therefore, our a, now be careful, a is not just 1/2, but negative 1/2 g. G is a number. It's actually constant on planet Earth, because a is whatever t squared is not. Okay, so 1/2 g t squared. We break this one, and this is our, well, sorry, I need to include the negative sign, and this is our a. Now we'll do the same for b. In this case, b will be v naught y, and then c will be negative delta y. So to solve this one, you could use the quadratic equation. Now it's going to look very different from that, right? Because we don't have any numbers. But you would follow the same thing. So in this case, not x, but t is equal to negative b. So negative v naught y plus or minus, I'll do the square root later, b squared, b squared, so v naught y squared minus 4. A is negative 1/2 g. C is negative delta y. And I take the square root of that times 2a. So 2 negative 1/2 g. Can I simplify? Absolutely. Am I going to do it? No. This video has been long already, so I'm going to break this one in 2 parts. This is part 1. If you're tired, you can take a break and then watch part 2 later. Alright guys, so this is part 1 of math review. We'll continue with trigonometry. Bye.